Right, well, for the red team on the AAA side, this is Rias. It looks like AAA are fielding a Guardian, Hurricane, Brutix, Protus, Rook, Flycatcher, Ishkur, and Ishkur.
And IAC on the right has a pair of Nighthawks, a Vulture, two Drakes, a Hugin, and a Scimitar. And we have the countdown in local, and the match has begun.
We're already seeing some missile spam. We're seeing some missile spam coming from the IAC side. Trying to see exactly what's going on. Looks like they are targeting one of the AAA Rooks. It's already getting into armor.
That's correct, and it's worth noting that the IAC Vulture was actually healed to 50 for moving prior to the match. Now we've got that Rook is still holding at about 50% armor right now. The Proteus is moving across the field, and I'm very interested to see what happens when that Proteus gets in close. I think IAC is going to have a real problem once that thing gets its teeth into him.
I do see some remote armor rep drones for the AAA side on that Rook. It looks like they're trying to keep him alive. Right now, I'm really not seeing a whole lot of damage on the IAC side. It looks like AAA is focused more on getting into range and less on getting the DPS down. I'm guessing that means the Hurricanes and Brutixes are probably set for close range DPS.
Absolutely, I would guess. I think that's a very safe bet. I mean, a Brutix with a good blaster fit and Hammerhead 2s can get you somewhere in the neighborhood of 950 to 970 DPS with max skills. So those things are just a damage fire hose. We're still not seeing a ton of damage floating around here. The Vulture from IAC is taking a bit of a pounding now. However, the shield tank on a Vulture is nothing to sneeze at, so if that's their first target, it's going to take them a while to get through that with kinetic and thermal damage.
It does look like that Vulture is actually, I think he's active repping. I'm trying to get a zoom in, still getting used to this interface. But at the same time, one of the AAA Ishkurs is touching into armor and being repped up fairly quickly, but he is definitely missing shields. Oh, the DPS Sorry, the DPS is definitely being applied to that Vulture right now. He is about to go into armor, which is already at 50% from being healed to 0. The armor is going down rapidly, low structure, and the Vulture is down for IAC. The first blood has been set.
Yeah, AAA scoring first blood, and a very important first blow there. That Vulture was going to be providing quite a bit of bonus to the rest of the ships, especially since you're going to have a lot of shield tanks in this Caldari heavy setup, so that was a big loss for them, and they're definitely going to feel that one. Meanwhile, the Guardian for AAA is still doing quite well, so he's going to be able to keep these armor tanking ships up for a while.
And it looks like AAA is set its sights on one of the Drakes and is motoring into range, but they still haven't quite gotten into range to put that DPS on. Meanwhile, looks like AAC is still trying to kill this Rook, which hovers at around 10% armor damage and is being healed up pretty quickly. And in fact, they might be switching targets back to that Ishkur in order just to win some points.
Yeah, no, and I think it's safe to say that those Rooks are going to be plated, especially with the Guardian. What I noticed earlier was those Drakes were moving in excess of 1 kilometer per second. So those Drakes are micro-warp driving, and they do have a Hugin on the field. Or they brought a Hugin with them, so that's going to slow down the opposition in getting to those fast-moving Drakes. Now that I say that, the first Drake is already at half shield, so clearly that Proteus and those Brutixes are in range now.
Now, it's interesting that this is the first T3 we've seen field, obviously, seeing it's the first tournament game of the day. Do you think that that's going to make any differences? I mean, if they lose that, is that going to affect the team later on, Croven?
It's possible. I mean, they're pricey, but and actually that Drake just went down. Just a massive amount of damage coming off of these blaster and probably autocannon fitted ships. But yeah, I mean, a Proteus is pricey, but as long as that Guardian's up, that Proteus isn't going anywhere.
And it looks like AAA is now targeting one of the IAC Nighthawks. I do see some looks like neutralizers coming from that Hurricane, so they're definitely trying to do some cap warfare. The Nighthawk is going into low shields, about 20% remaining. and we're seeing a lot of close-range damage coming from the AAA team. I think it's pretty fair to say at this point that AAA is going to take the field here.
I think that's very safe to say. You've got that Nighthawk is in structure, and he is about to drop. And I didn't see any boosters going. I don't know if they had already neuted him dry or what was going on there, but yeah, that Nighthawk, and a Nighthawk again with a pretty stout tank, just was absolutely shredded by the DPS from this close-range setup of AAA.
Now, it's also worth noting that AAA really doesn't have a whole lot to fear right now. They have 2 ships in low shields. One is their Ishkur that is no longer taking damage. It looks like the Rook is still repping just fine. There's a little bit of random DPS thrown at their Flycatcher and at their Guardian, but it doesn't seem like there's any real risk with AAA losing anything in this tournament match.
That is possible. I mean, we are seeing a little bit of damage onto the Guardian now. It's hanging in there. It's interesting, neither side has really made a go at the other side's logistics ship yet, and that's just another testament to the sheer amount of damage you can get out of here. And I say that, and then lost lock on the Scimitar. I'm not sure what happened to him.
Yeah, I just lost lock as well. I don't see him on my overview anymore.
Either he got one volleyed or he got out of range or something, because he is gone. So that's going to be yet another blow to the IAC team, who's already struggling. We're seeing damage spread out now amongst the IAC ships. I mean, the Flycatcher has a little, the remaining Nighthawk and the remaining Drake all taking a little bit of damage. I'm not real sure what the cause of that is, if there's some E-War going on that we're not seeing.
Looks like that Nighthawk's actually into about 50% shields, and CCP Claw is now confirming that the Scimitar actually left the arena and was healed to 0. So that's, for an already losing team, that's a pretty big blow.
Yeah, and if this match weren't sealed already, that definitely seals it for them. That Scimitar, given that there are 2 Rooks on the field, that Scimitar was probably jammed for the entire fight, as are probably a lot of the IAC ships, to be honest, and that may explain some of the damage spread we were seeing. There could be drones spreading out, FOFs, things like that. That Nighthawk now in 50% structure and is about to go down, and down he goes. So IAC with just a couple of ships remaining, and this one is all but done.
Now, it looks like the AAA Protoss is received a little bit of armor damage, but he doesn't even seem to be bothering to rep that back up. I don't know if the Guardian is going to do that remotely, or if he's just, being bold at this point. Definitely looks like if he has a passive tank, it is a very, very large passive tank, because I think he's getting those remote reps from the Guardian now, and it took almost 2 cycles to get him back up to full hit points.
Yeah, no, I sincerely doubt that Proteus has an armor rep on. The passive tank from a Proteus with good skills and good fitting. I mean, you're talking effective hit points well beyond that of your average battleship. So really no concern for him there, especially given what IAC has left on the field, which at this point appears to be a Flycatcher and a Drake. He could probably he could solo both of these provided he can catch them.
The Flycatcher is actually for AAA, but it looks like the Ishkurs have the last Drake webbed, and he's already going into about 3/4 shields. So I expect this fight will be over in just a few very, very short seconds. Looks like a solid win for AAA, and our first perfect match.
Yeah, flawless victory. That Drake he's hanging in there for the moment, but I see the other battle cruisers coming in, and they're going to finish him off in short order. The Brutix, I think we're going to see a lot of Brutixes in this tournament. Tier 1 battle cruisers are pretty cheap for what they're capable of, and the Brutix is just an absolute beast on damage. Drake in armor now, and this match is all but done.
Yep, and we're going into 20% structure, and that Drake has popped. Pretty explosions all around. Yay, raw cheering, and AAA have, flawless victory again. Well done, AAA.
And back to you, Soundwave.